If a billionaire can get his phone hacked, so can you. Up next, how to protect your smartphone and personal information. We'll be right back.
Just last week, it was revealed that Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos' smartphone was hacked. The United Nations investigated and ultimately banned officials from using WhatsApp. He believes the hack happened after he received a file from the WhatsApp account of the Saudi crown prince. Authorities think the encrypted, unsolicited file contained a virus. Obviously, the billionaire was a target, but it can happen to anyone. So how do we protect our phones and information? Here to talk more about this is tech expert Nick Wolny. This is so frustrating to see when it can happen to somebody, you know, who is so probably high tech, and we just think, oh wow, that could be us. What happened here?
Right. It was really unusual because it actually was a file that Jeff Bezos received via WhatsApp, and he may or may not have even clicked on it, which is kind of this next generation of hackers and malware that's starting to happen.
I hadn't heard of that, so I thought you had to click on that.
So it's called smishing. That's the industry term, and it's SMS phishing. Most of us are familiar with phishing, hacks, scams, things like that. You receive a suspicious message, you know not to click on it, you know not to forward it to anyone, but now you have this new degree of hackers where essentially it's a game of cat and mouse. You've got the hackers trying to get ahead of the software companies, and then the software companies patch, and it's this endless cycle.
Now, does that mean if it even comes into your box that it's too late? There's nothing you can do, or do you open it but just not click? You have to actually touch.
Well, for how malware works, a lot of malware is called spyware, which means the intention of it is that it gets into your device and it just starts to spy and potentially extract some of your personal information. And as this gets more and more sophisticated, a good way to approach how you're handling your device is to assume that if a stranger were to get into your device and be able to access your information, what information would they be able to access? Because we just had
our life.
And we just had a billionaire who one of the most powerful, richest men in the world, who needed months of hiring a private security team in order to figure out what the heck even happened to his phone. So how can us mortals, you know,
so what kind of information are you talking about? How can we protect ourselves? Because if you think about it, you've got all your passwords more than likely stored in there. There's just all kinds of information, credit card information.
Right. Having something like a password manager can be really helpful. Really having a different password.
But would they have access to that password manager?
So not necessarily. And the other thing is that the passwords in a password manager are going to be encrypted. What a lot of people don't realize too is that hackers will create spyware and have spyware on your devices so that they can take a username and a password and actually sell it on the internet to the highest bidder, or sell it on the dark web. Some private cybersecurity companies reported to the New York Times that when they would have executives come on as clients, people who were more likely to be targeted, over 80% of them actually already had their username and password floating around on the dark web. So it's in terms of this spyware that's getting implanted, more and more people are realizing, oh, my password's already out there and I should have a different password for my different logins, and to change it on a regular basis.
All right, be careful. Listen to Nick. Protect yourself. Thank you so much for the info.